Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of the Women of Arabia. Women of Arabia is a platform where we showcase the women bosses and entrepreneurs and of course women from different walks of life who have carved a niche and changed their dreams into reality. And today in conversation with us is someone who needs no introduction, especially to the UAE scene, definitely. Someone whose name is so synonymous with NMC Healthcare, BiteRite, Seema Shetty. Well, just to give the title, you're the Vice President Corporate Excellence of NMC, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure the interviews you've had like numerous interviews, and all the interviews you've had, everyone focuses and asks you about what does it feel like to be the daughter of one of the most richest, most famous businessmen of UAE, Dr. B.R. Shetty. But today at Women of Arabia, of course we acknowledge that, but we would like to know more about you. So where did you grow up? Did you study here, or what was your childhood like? Was it here?
So we were born and raised here. Out of 4 of us siblings, 3 of us were born here.
Okay.
My eldest was in India.
Okay.
And that's when my mom came back here.
Okay.
And started work full swing. And then one by one she delivered
one,
each of us here.
Right.
I was born in Corniche. Like everybody who was born at that time, I was
Yes.
also born in Corniche.
Right.
So we have very close relationship with Corniche there. And my brother was the first child born in NMC.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
So your brother is younger.
He's
than you.
younger.
You're
He's
4 of you.
1
right?
year younger. Yeah.
That's
I think my mom must have figured that if I'm going to keep going, I might as well open up a
hospital of our own.
Yeah, exactly. A ward of our own for
The
deliveries.
story behind NMC.
The story behind how we expanded everything. Correct.
Right.
So yeah, I was born here. I'm very proud to have been born in Abu Dhabi like you. I know, I can tell.
Yeah.
And raised here my whole life up until 12th grade.
Okay.
And then I went to Boston.
Oh, okay.
Completed 4 years there.
So what did you do?
I did my bachelor's
Okay.
in business administration.
Okay. All right.
So basic bachelor degree. I specialized in marketing. I was the first batch in BU to graduate from an entrepreneurship degree.
Really?
They just came out with an entrepreneurship
Okay.
degree there. And I was so excited about it because, I've seen Papa, I've seen Mom working from scratch, day in, day out.
Right.
Till today, my mother still does split shift. So, I mean, entrepreneurship for me was just, they have a tag entrepreneurship, but for me, it was all we saw.
Okay.
It was everything we saw. In fact, corporate governance and the corporate world is something which we weren't used to. And we only got used to it very recently once the organization changed
And the
shape
structure
and
was
structure.
formed. Yeah. And so, like you said, when you took this degree and everything, did you ever think that you want to come back here? Was it always there in your dreams to come back here? And
You know why?
why?
Because when I was growing up here,
Yeah.
in around my teens, we started, I think it was in 10th grade, we started doing business studies. So at that time, we had to do a lot of projects. I'd keep going to the different companies. I'd do projects, and I loved projects.
Okay.
It was my thing. So even when I didn't have to do it, I'd still, like in the summer, do something
Okay.
with different departments, learn as much as I can, and then I'd write my learnings down and project it. And
Wow.
I was part of Toastmasters.
Okay.
So I would,
From then?
yeah, I was
Wow.
the first youth leadership president of Toastmasters.
Really?
The very first youth leadership program Toastmasters in UAE held.
Yes.
I was that batch, and then I was the first president of theirs.
Amazing.
So
the bone was always there, right?
Yeah,
The entrepreneurship and that enterprising nature of yours.
when we were small, when Toastmasters started, why I told you I love Toastmasters, and I recommend it for everybody.
Okay.
Everybody, because it teaches you discipline, it teaches you communication, it teaches you perseverance. What happens is at that time I was 16.
Okay.
You have to be 18 to be a Toastmaster, official Toastmaster. Gavel, what they call as gavel clubs came much later.
Much later.
So I used to sit on the side and observe. This was the advice of my father.
Okay.
He told me Toastmasters is there. It's a very good platform. You and your brother go sit on the side and watch.
Okay.
So we used to see all the stalwarts. Right now, the stalwarts of Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
We used to be in that first chapter, the Abu Dhabi chapter, and we just sit and watch and learn.
So inspiring, right? To
And
watch.
unofficially they then involved us in
Yes,
that round
of course.
table.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, to me, Toastmasters changed me completely.
Is it?
Yeah.
And you recommend it for your
Everybody.
kids, everyone.
As soon as my daughter's coming of
Going to-
age, she's gonna
She's
go
going
to
to
Toastmasters.
go and sitting there in the cabin club.
Absolutely.
Right.
I've seen children transform.
Okay.
Even when I was in the youth leadership program,
Mm.
we had children who couldn't even speak a word.
Oh.
They weren't confident to even speak in front of people.
Yeah.
And by the end
The
of 10
transformation.
sessions, all it took was 10 sessions.
Really?
She went up, she was the youngest of all
Okay.
of us.
Mm.
Can't remember her age.
Mm.
She went up at the last day. We had a competition. She spoke.
Okay.
I spoke.
Okay.
She spoke, and she went away with the award.
Oh, wow.
She was fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, we were very proud of her. That's also what Toastmasters teaches you. How to appreciate others, give constructive
Right.
feedback, encourage others.
Mm.
These are all characteristics that when you work with a team,
Mm.
people respect and appreciate.
Right. And also
You know?
it helps build a community, right,
Yes.
of like-minded
Yeah,
people,
absolutely.
supporting each other, networking. It's all kind of networking that people talk about now a lot,
Yeah.
but this was there. Might not be
True.
the same word coined.
True,
But
true,
then,
true.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So, and then you came back from Boston and then,
And as soon as I came back from Boston, I worked with UXchange.
which
Yeah.
is also one of the group companies.
Yes.
Okay.
So UXchange I really liked, but
Okay.
numbers is not my thing. So and UXchange also
why
is
UX
very
change?
professional.
But why did you choose UX? Or was it?
Because in NMC healthcare it was more technical, it was clinical. I did it when I was in high school. I did it when I was in college. I did
Like
my
your projects and
internships
everything.
there.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I wanted something different.
Different.
So I joined UXchange.
Okay.
And at that time we just launched Express Money.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Express Money was new. We
Right.
only had the market
Like the
only
normal.
had Western Union
Right. Yeah.
to transfer money. So here Express Money came in saying
Okay.
that we understand your earnings.
Yeah.
We understand you need a cheap but high quality and very
quality and
fast and
fast,
reliable to send your
Right.
savings back to your home.
Okay.
And this was what I was involved with. That
Okay.
first 2 years, I think it was about 2 years, I used all the network I gathered in Boston, and I had that, when you graduate from college,
Right.
you have this thing that you can do anything in the
Anything
world. So I had this whole business plan in place. I
Right.
submitted it to the manager, and I'm like, this is what we should do with
Okay.
Express Money. So it was nice. He took
And
it.
did he take it or?
He did take it, and he said,
Right.
it's excellent ideas. Let's
Really?
take it one step at a time.
Okay. I
So-
was telling you it's a great idea, but at the
Yeah.
same time, because sometimes many women face that. You would know when they come back, like you said, fairly a newcomer, a fresher, but then someone going with their ideas. It can be an advantage and disadvantage of the fact that you've got, it's part of the family. It can be an advantage saying that because they don't have a choice, but then they will at least listen to you. But disadvantage also because you have so much to prove, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
was that-
I never had anything
that
to prove.
pressure. Okay.
Never had the pressure.
Okay.
From the beginning, my parents have made it very clear to us.
Okay.
You choose the line you are
Oh.
passionate about.
Okay.
You have fun doing, do that.
Okay.
You don't have to be doctors, because we know exact words of my parents is,
Okay.
if you become a doctor and you don't enjoy what you do, our patients will suffer.
True. Yeah,
So
exactly.
and that's exactly how they saw it.
Okay.
And so for us, it was very clear we didn't have any pressure.
Mm.
But yeah, I had the support of my parents. We had the support of the management.
Yeah.
But having Dr. B.R. Shetty's daughter in your team almost exposes you.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So there was a little bit of resistance.
True.
There was resistance.
Okay.
It's not easy being who we are.
Yeah.
We don't throw our weight around with people.
Yeah.
So when we joined the organization, it was very clear by my father, you're going in, you grow in your own merit.
Yeah.
You don't grow because you're my daughter. My people who are at the top are at the top because I trust them.
Yeah, and plus
And
they
they've
have
grown
proved,
from
and
exactly.
proved
So
themselves.
you need to prove to them, only then you grow.
Okay,
And
amazing.
that's how
Yeah.
it was for us.
Yes.
We just had to prove ourselves to them.
Yeah.
Not to my
Since
father.
I know Dr.
but to
B.R. Shetty
them.
so well, I know when you
Yeah.
say it, I can exactly envision him
Yeah.
saying that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So-
Yeah. But he's been excellent.
Yeah.
Knowingly or unknowingly, I always turn to him when
Yeah.
when I hit a roadblock and I don't see any other solution, I go to him, and then he throws these statements which are just so confusing, but somehow you find an answer in them.
Abstract, but then you have to find
he
out
always has
something.
a proverb for everything that happens, and there's an answer in that proverb, and you find that answer.
Right. Do you think, will you say that he'll be your best teacher of till today, or with all the management studies and all you have done?
Oh yes.
Yeah, he is.
Because I've not met somebody. See, I'm his biggest fan. So
I know.
and everybody knows that I'm his biggest fan.
And you are also
he
his
could
pet.
commit murder, and I'll say he did not do it.
And you're also his favorite. So no offense to your siblings, but you are his favorite.
That's true. So
hopefully they're not watching.
Yeah, I really hope they don't see this. I hope nobody sees this guy. I just said he could commit murder, and I'll support him.
No, but then that's true. You are his biggest fan, and then everything he does, he says, is something which you just take in like gospel, right?
Yes, it's true. It's true, because he always sees the positive sides of things, and he always gives you an answer with you finding the answer. He doesn't tell you what to do.
Oh, okay.
He grooms you so you find the answer yourself, and he puts that trust in you. Other people don't do that.
Yeah.
Everybody's so worried about, will she become something? Will she take this from me? Will she take that from me?
True, yeah.
For him, no matter who it is, it could be his competitor. He'll still give them the same information he has.
That's true.
And it's because he trusts he has the capability to do more, and he trusts that he will do more.
Able to do more. Exactly.
Today, he's on survival mode. So he knows, me and you, same information, I'll still make sure that patient knows I am there for them every time.
Wow.
So if any person calls him on his mobile, any person, he will answer.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yes.
He answers. He doesn't leave his phone.
Yeah.
And he's not going to say, the only reason he'll get upset if somebody calls his phone is to sell him some property, or if they got his number for
sales call.
It's the only thing that would upset him, if they don't respect his time.
Right. That's true.
If they're polite on the phone, even then he's nice to them.
He is. And so when did you move from UAE Exchange to NMC, or was there a break in between?
So what happened was, while I was in UAE Exchange, at that time we got the opportunity to open up the 5-star Indian restaurant. Yeah. And there I kind of did both. So I did the Express Money, and I learned everything about UAE Exchange Express Money at that time. So I was quite knowledgeable about how everything functioned. And at the same time, I was working on a new I always loved food.
Yeah, and then that's how that changed into food industry.
Okay. So, what had happened was, when I was small, we used to travel to different places, even within UAE and outside UAE, within India. And I'd carry a small book. It was literally like my little black book.
Okay.
And in that, I would write, I'd have 2 pages.
Okay.
And that would be my theme. So this is one restaurant theme. I'd write the menu that I thought went in that. How should the waiters be dressed?
Really?
What's unique about the service? I used to draw like a seating plan of how the restaurant should be. And every time I saw a different arrangement of seating that I liked, I'd adapt that into my next restaurant project. So I had a book of restaurant projects.
Okay. That's interesting.
And the reason I didn't pursue it is because, and I also loved fashion. Thank God I didn't pursue that, because I have the worst taste in fashion.
Who says who?
No, I have to take help to make sure I look normal and decent. Otherwise, I'm wearing like 5 different amazing things at the same time.
That's fashion too.
Yeah,
Can be as quirky as possible.
No, my best friend's a fashion designer, and she said, Seema, let me help you.
Seema, stay away from fashion.
So luckily, I didn't go into that. And again, that was my father's advice. Get a general degree and then move on. Yeah. So when the F&B concept came as an opportunity, he said...
Jumped at it.
Yeah, he said, I know you like this.
Yes.
I've seen you. You can take it on, but you need to show me your rental contract that you negotiate. Okay. If you've negotiated a good rental contract and you show me a business plan that you succeed, I'll support you in this project. Okay. So, in F&B, the rental is the largest cost. Rental and staff.
Yeah, okay.
And you're talking about women empowerment and relationship.
And how many years back was this?
This was in 2003. I was 21 at that time. Okay. I met with the general manager of the hotel. The owner of the hotel is a gem. Okay. But the general manager was known to be chauvinistic. So even the women working under him, and I found this out later, were very depressed because he was rude, he mistreated them. And here I am, a 21-year-old, going into a meeting, negotiating with him, and he said the same thing to me. He said, "What's this? Why do I have a girl in front of me? She's not even of age. How can she talk to me?" Yeah.
He said that.
And I was
It's one thing being like that, but the other thing trying to tell you right on your face.
No, he was very rude.
Oh my God.
And, again, you have all these aspirations when you're young, you have all this energy. I saw that in front of me and I just cried in front of him. And luckily, my sister was with me. She used to just come as support.
She's younger than you, or
she's older. She's older.
Okay.
And she got up because she could. I was dependent on him to agree to signing my contract.
Right. Yes.
So, but she got up and she said, "This is not right. You cannot talk to us like this. You cannot talk to my sister like this. You better apologize." And that is the only thing that made me get up from that seat, because I was just going to sit there and just cry.
Okay.
And then I went back out and I started thinking about what had happened. And I realized this guy cannot be tackled from the way I'm doing it, And when I left that meeting, everybody saw that my eyes were red and I was tearing. I went down and I knew the valet people because I was born and raised in this country. So in that hotel, all the valet people knew us. So when leaving the elevator to go down, I used to say hi to everybody. So we knew them all. We were their customers and they were so happy to see us. They were all from India, so they all knew who we were.
Who you were,
And then I started hearing stories about this guy. What all he does, how the other women feel, and the women started standing up.
Wow.
And so everybody started talking about their stories to each other.
Right.
And internally, somehow, there was a
movement that was happening.
Yeah. I don't know if I was the last straw. I don't know what it was.
Could have been. Yeah, could have been.
But soon after, luckily, we signed the contract. I'm sorry. So
you did. You managed that.
Yes. Let me explain. So we went back into the meeting.
Okay.
And this guy thought I didn't know anything, and I said, "Look, let's build it up to this much." He basically thought I was naive. He didn't know what the market prices were outside, and it was a good deal for him, and he signed it, and that worked out to be very good for us because it was a progressive rental contract.
Okay.
Within 1 year of us signing it, within that year itself, he was taken out of the hotel. So everything was brought to the awareness of everyone, and action was taken.
Okay.
So that was my first experience of somebody going or not supporting women, or in fact not supporting, but going against women. It was because I was a woman that he didn't like it, and you can't imagine how he treated his staff. Oh my God. So, and that's how I found out about it, because again, in our company, women are equal. In our family,
everyone's treated the same.
Exactly. So I've never seen anything about challenges of women until that time, and that was my first exposure.
Okay.
So if I am a little bit of a feminist today, it's probably because of my experience from that time.
From that one, how one experience can trigger things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It all happens for a good reason.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, everything happens for a good reason. And then did you move into food industry after that? Or
yes, Zari did extremely well. We kind of hit a new segment in the market for Indian cuisine.
Yes.
We combined entertainment with eating. It was amazing.
Was it your baby? Would you call it your baby?
Oh, yes.
Completely, right?
I was totally dedicated. And people from Dubai used to come and visit us, on weekends. So we had traffic from there coming here. It was my first award. I told you there's some awards which I feel I haven't been
proud of. Some of them you're very proud.
I'm very proud of. And that award was one of them. I wasn't even invited to the award ceremony, because the notification went to the hotel. They didn't tell us we were nominated. They went, collected the award.
Really? For the restaurant and came back? How nice.
And so I can, it's a beautiful photo of them giving me the award.
Okay.
And I had no idea I was nominated and no idea I got the award, so that's fine. That award to me, till today, is the one I'm the most proud of.
Okay.
We combated a lot of challenges. We combated experienced chefs who came and visited Zari and said, "This is not going to do well." So a lot of people spoke and said that you're not going to succeed. And the fact that we got the award in the first time, and we were getting awards years after. If somebody tells you you've already committed to the project, so if somebody comes and says you're not going to do well, you almost want to prove them wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
So I was very happy that chef came into my life, because I felt this desire to prove him wrong.
Him wrong was stronger than any other doubts.
So I wasn't doing it for me. I was doing it to prove everybody wrong. You know,
and you really succeeded. Right, great.
And then BiteRite happened because, you know, I'm a foodie, and I just ate and ate and ate. And unfortunately, I was eating very heavy Indian food.
Yeah.
And I became diagnosed as pre-diabetic. So
was it after you had your kid or before that?
No, this is when I was 22.
Really?
Yeah, I was 22 years old. So it was within the first year of opening Zari. By the next year, I gained, I was 90 kilos. I had triglycerides level that were beyond control. My sugar was high. So everything was off because of my eating habits.
Right.
And to be honest, you're in a restaurant from morning to night.
Yeah.
You forget when breakfast is, lunch and dinner.
Right.
You know, that's how it was for me. I didn't even know the difference between them. So I had to be retrained on how to consume. And I spent a lot of time with the nutritionist and the doctor. And they told me about what other patients feel as well. You know, so what they were telling me is that I'm not alone.
Okay.
There are a lot of people that feel this with you.
Yeah.
And the only thing I could think about is, my God, is this how other people feel? Like, I got into this because I started Zari.
Right.
Otherwise, I was fine. But I couldn't believe that there was this. And most of them were juvenile.
Yeah.
So juvenile diabetes at that time was a fifth of the diabetic population.
Correct, yes.
And I was just past juvenile because I was in my early 20s. You know, so I had to do something about it.
True.
And this is where my mom actually helped me.
Okay.
So when I first went to the dietitian, she gave me have you been to a dietitian?
No.
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 I love dietitians. Don't
Really?
get me wrong. I love dietitians.
Okay.
But if you go to a dietitian, they'll ask you, what do you eat? You know, what's your normal eating habit? And I used to have 2 idlis. Or 2, chapatis,
or dosas,
2 pancakes.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she's telling me, no, you got to have half an idli for breakfast.
What?
You have to have half a pancake for breakfast the next day, or don't have that much rice. You just take
a ball.
Yeah, small amount. I'm so used to putting 3 spoons of rice. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I had to change my whole way of seeing how to eat. And I don't like someone telling me, take an idli, make half and put the rest back. You know,
I can't do that.
What?
I mean, that's why I've never gone to a dietitian. Exactly. I can't do that.
But what she's trying to say is that your portion should be half. So what that's telling me is that our normal idli size is more than our requirement. You know, we've just made everything bigger.
Yeah.
When we should actually be making it smaller. Okay. And so that's what we started doing in BiteRite.
Okay.
And
so that's the reason behind the name also, BiteRite?
BiteRite, yeah. BiteRite is BITERITE.
Yeah.
Which is your right to bite. Okay. It's not BiteRite.
Okay.
It's my right.
My right to bite.
I can eat anything. The whole concept of BiteRite is you can eat anything. Okay. Just control your sugar, control your salt, and don't have fried food. Yeah. Other than that, eat whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Whatever
the right
you
quantity.
Want. Yes.
Or,
exactly.
like you said, BiteRite. Okay, so is that how you gravitated into health food, a healthy food concept?
Yeah. So there was a lot of learning required. I had to understand how a nutritionist thinks and talks, and I had to look at there was a disconnect between what the nutritionist would say and the endocrinologist. And so we had to then bring them on the same conversation.
Okay, yeah.
And that's exactly how BiteRite bridged the two conversations.
All right.
So I learned a lot about what happens internally, and I learned a lot about what we put in and what comes out.
What comes out, yes.
So what the results are.
Yeah,
and that's how we created it. So we had a team of doctors and nutritionists that worked with us. And that became my focus, just nutrition, healthy eating, clean eating. Even today, I might be huge, or you might see somebody who's big. Yeah. Like I went to the radiologist, okay, and he looked at my whole body scan. He said, it's incredible. If I look at your scan, to me, it looks like I'm looking at a healthy person. I would never imagine you to be fat. Yeah. Right. Because your organs don't have fat around it.
Right. Yeah. Like they say, the fat content and everything.
So what happens if you have fried food or things that are not not healthy, not good for you,
Right.
the fat kind of sticks to your organs, which is dangerous. That's the dangerous part.
Okay.
You know, so this fat is basically lack of exercise.
And the fact that she just had what, 10 months?
10-month baby.
10 month old baby boy.
Yeah,
that's what it is. So yeah.
That's an excuse. That's an excuse.
10 months old baby boy. Let's stick to that part.
Yeah, that's what I say to everybody. I enjoy being pregnant because there's a reason for my stomach being this size.
Like some people say, enjoy being in winter climate and lots and lots of layers. We can eat whatever we want to eat.
True.
All right. So then that was the whole experience. Because when BiteRite started, like you mentioned, it was again one of its kind at that time.
It was the first.
It was completely
There's
special.
nothing else in the market.
Having a nutritionist and
meals delivered to your home, meals delivered to your office.
Now people talk about it like this huge movement. Like it started when did you start?
2005.
2005. Almost what?
By 2005, 2006 cusp. So we researched 2004. I had the problem identified.
Okay.
It took me 2 years to finalize the exact concept of BiteRite.
Okay.
So 1 year after I was diagnosed, I was then going on a plan of educating people because I'm a Toastmaster, I talk. So I felt like I had to tell everybody about the problems that could happen from poor eating habits, and involve especially the mothers, because it all starts from the mother. So we came out with many programs of talking to communities, mothers, schools. We spoke to Food Control Authority. We spoke to, we did presentations at all the authorities as well. And that's how we took BiteRite forward. You know, the one mistake I did with BiteRite though, because BiteRite was first of its kind, in 2004-05, if you asked anybody in the market, what is healthy food?
It was BiteRite.
No, they couldn't answer the question.
2004-05. Okay, before this
They
started.
couldn't answer the question. They don't know what healthy food is. So we spent 2 years educating people on what is healthy food. And that's a cost. So BiteRite suffered a huge amount of losses because the market was not ready. And even if they needed it, they're not going to make that change. So we did it slowly. We did a lot of education. We spent a lot on educating the market.
That's something which many women that we've been talking to also for the past different industries, but they're all small time entrepreneurs. They say the same thing. Their biggest pain point is to educate the masses about what their product is, and a lot of time and effort and money goes into that. And that's sad, because especially something like this, I've been trying to be on a vegetarian path for the past 2 months, and every time I go out to eat, something switches. At home I'm fine, but I go out to eat, I'm like, why should I eat something vegetarian? I'm coming here. Lots of other options, and I always move to the unhealthy. I'm not saying non-vegetarian is unhealthy by any means. I'm saying is that switches, it's very difficult. In spite of reading a lot, knowing a lot.
That's because you're not convinced yet. Right?
True.
And honestly, don't do it until you're convinced.
True. I'm like, okay, progressively probably I'll change, but I don't see it anytime now. You're right about
if you want to be vegetarian, you know what you should do to convince yourself? Go to a slaughterhouse.
Okay.
Just go sit in a slaughterhouse.
I know, I don't
see
want
how. That's you don't want to. If you want to be vegetarian, go sit in a slaughterhouse.
Yes, ma'am.
And you immediately shift. No, it's true. If I had to actually kill for my meat, I wouldn't be non-veg.
That's true. That's true. So like the thing is to try and to convince them, and it's hard to convince the masses because they're also accustomed. And also, most of the restaurants you go to, the best ones, the options that's there for healthy eating or for vegetarian, it's really low as compared to.
It's changed though.
It's changed.
But
for you when you started was a big.
Without government backing, it's very hard for something for a trend to take off.
Right.
When I say a trend, I mean it's a public health trend.
Yes.
So when the Abu Dhabi Education Council, when the health authorities started creating policies, they transformed.
Yes.
They transformed the way the
Completely.
population.
True.
started
Like for
eating.
the past couple of years, the movement is every year it's going
Yeah.
better. Past couple of years, I know how much of a pain it is to get up in the morning and think about my two kids and what do I pack for them, because school is very, very particular. They have these random checks that happens. Kids, it's easy to condition them earlier.
Yeah.
Much early on. But is that why you started on this mission of, the schools and BiteRite
Yes.
providing? So
It's exactly why we went to schools.
Yeah.
We went to schools because if children are used to these, to seeing that healthy food, that
Yeah.
plate
Right.
from the very beginning, you don't have a challenge later on.
Yes.
And when we went to school, we were having manaish, samosas,
I know.
deep fried samosas.
I know.
It was yummy. Samosas are deep fried, having that every day. You had Coca-Colas in your canteen?
Of course we did.
Yeah. There was soft
Of course
drinks.
we did.
We thought that's normal
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it's everywhere, right?
And was it difficult to convince the schools and to get them
Oh,
on
yes.
this path? Really?
Because schools are, they have their already existing caterers who've been catering with them for years. So we're coming in, we're pricing more because
Yeah.
your food is
Yes.
a lot more expensive
True.
now.
Yeah.
You can't make anything in 3 dirhams.
No, you can't.
It's if
For
you
sure
want
not.
nutritious food, then
Yeah.
it will be much more. So we came in saying it's a little bit higher. We're a new supplier. There wasn't many schools that were willing to.
Accepting it.
Yeah. There were a few, so we're
Okay.
very thankful to them
Yeah.
for that. But when the government passed the law
Yeah.
that all caterers to schools had to supply healthy food, that was Wakaya approved. They came out with a Wakaya program, which is a beautiful program.
Okay.
And they even gave the recipes to the
Oh.
caterers and said, this is
This
the
is it.
recipes, cater to this. We were the first approved caterer for the new law.
Okay.
So we were already ready, and we also had all cuisines. So we offered not just the burgers and the
the sandwiches,
the Arabic
and things
and
like
continental dishes, but we had biryanis, we had pastas, everything in it. So touch wood, that really helped us take off. Both times, as soon as government intervention took place for something like healthy eating, we were able to flourish.
And it's sad that when you think about it, because most of the schools are work for the interest of the kids, but then you had to have a government imposing down on them for them to rethink the whole concept of healthy eating and everything. Because we talk about it, we are taught about it. Every class has been about healthy eating. When you go to the canteens, the cafeterias, we don't have it.
You know why? Because when you move from offering the sambars, the idlis, the samosas to
suddenly
like a healthy option,
salad,
the kids are going to complain. Because at home they have the same thing, but in school they come and they're having this kind of, the parents
food.
will complain, why are you serving this to my children? They're not eating anything in school.
Yeah. And also you did mention that when you went into the schools, for example, you had to convince them because of the price factor. Why is it that a healthy food is more expensive than a Coke?
Okay.
How do we change that?
It's not just the ingredients that go into making that dish, right?
Yeah.
It's the chef, it's even your health and safety line.
Yeah.
Everything changes.
Everything changes.
So you could open up a small kitchen, which is this square, and you can produce food. Your cost is just this square. Your chefs that are in there,
the quality, the oil they use can be reused.
They reuse the oil, exactly.
Yeah.
And when you move healthy, all that changes.
All that changes.
Because when you're moving
Standards
healthy, you're also going to make sure that you're keeping. And again, Food Control Authority did a beautiful intervention to make sure that all kitchens scale up.
Okay.
So
they're very particular about it here. Yes, which is
now
amazing.
Luckily infrastructure is the same everywhere. And the chefs have to be trained properly. There's some really good work. We're very lucky.
Yeah, but so much goes into it. You're right about that. And it's easy for a layman to sit down and say, oh, it's more expensive, but then the truth is you do have to
absolutely
put in a bit more, because of the quality that you're getting, right? I understand.
And also, if somebody's pricing less, they're making a loss.
Yeah.
They just want to get the contract from you. So they're going to have to make the money somewhere else. They're going to have to catch up after 2 years or 3 years. So a customer, a business customer, so a corporate customer has to be wise to understand when to make that switch.
Yeah.
You gotta know that your supplier is trustworthy, they supply on time. The complaints will always happen, but the complaints are insignificant. Significant complaints are health issues, things that don't adhere to those.
I understand. So going back to what we were talking about, Food Control Authority and of course EDEC, do you feel that kids here in general eat a lot of unhealthy food, or is it's very prevalent to this region because it's readily available? Right.
We've come a long way.
We have.
So if you're asking me the question, I know where we were in 2004, and I know where we are now.
Right.
And we're good. We're very good now.
We are.
We're very good.
I think even kids do understand, I think, of late, right? You've
it's
got
in
kids
the
of your own.
curriculum. So now, even in schools, the teachers at a very young age, from KG to first, second, third grade, they're talking about what is healthy food. And children can tell the difference between, at least they know it's not healthy and healthy.
Yeah.
Which is a big step.
Yeah.
Before, burgers, chicken nuggets was the norm.
That's it. So you've got kids. How old is your oldest?
The oldest is 6.
Okay.
Then after that, so Vivanya, she's 6. Then Tanaya, she's 4. And then I have Sahasya, who's the boy.
He's a little boy.
He's 10 months.
10 months. Yeah. And after you've had kids, did you think, has anything changed in terms of healthy eating? And are you like the fussy mom?
No. Well, okay, I'll tell you a very nice story.
Okay.
So everything changed after BiteRite. I used to be a very good cook. I used to make chicken, and I'd add the nice spices, and then I'd wrap it with your maida, the flour.
Yeah, the flour.
And then I used to fry it, and people would come, and everybody would eat it.
Okay.
And then BiteRite happened, and I stopped cooking after that. So
come on.
Yeah, because I'm working the whole time. I had chefs who were making food for me, and I was on the meal plan the whole time.
Right. Yeah.
And then I got married.
Yeah.
I moved to India, and I had to cook for my husband. So this poor guy who lived in India his whole life, was used to his dal chawal and all that, which I could not cook because I love continental food and I only knew how to make continental.
Yeah.
He would wake up and I'd make wheat pancakes with orange sauce because I didn't believe in maple syrup.
Yeah.
And I had this menu for 3 days, which was
where is my dosa?
Yes. He came to me after 3 days. He goes, Seema, listen, you don't have to cook. We can just order dal chawal every day. I told my mom, and she said, "Oh no, I'm sending your aunt there right now. She's going to teach you how to cook."
Express, right? Oh, I've had my mom saying the same thing. 1 month of express cooking.
You won't believe it. After he made that statement, I told my mom as a joke because I found it so funny.
Yeah, right.
It was almost embarrassing. The next week, my aunt comes to live with us in Bombay, and she's teaching me how to make puri bhaji and all these dishes
and
for my
everything.
husband that loves Indian food. Oh my God!
Has he been converted now to healthy eating?
Yes.
Yeah, good job, Seema.
It took 10 years. We just completed 9 years, and this guy's very healthy. He eats his fruits. He never used to have fruits before. He eats fish. He never ate fish before.
Converted him.
Yes. And he's thinner than me. so I'm still preaching, but he's doing it. And to be honest, after Vivanya, I was very healthy, and I had trouble with getting milk.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's okay to talk about this, but
producing milk.
Actually, I should probably talk about this. It's very important. Yeah. When I had my first child, I was still pregnant. I was in my 8th month. I had 2 ladies come up to me and they said, Seema, listen.
Okay.
We know you and we think you should know this. We went through depression.
Okay.
Because it changed our life.
Yeah.
And it was very difficult. Okay. Yeah. But what I want you to remember is that this will all go away. It's not going to remain like this forever. Okay. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So beautiful. Why would you say this to me? I'm pregnant. And then I delivered. Okay. And the routine of waking up every 2 hours and going to the toilet, the baby's crying outside. If I had to shower, I'm worried about if the baby's crying, if she's choking, because I burped her, put her down, and I know. They don't properly burp. Yeah. Changing diapers, middle of the night, the potty. what is happening? You know, I was in
Did you-
pre-Vivania, I was
Yeah.
in total control over what I did. I was selfish. My time was me. I could
Yeah.
do whatever I wanted. And then post her, I was just doing everything for a baby who didn't speak.
Yeah.
I did not know what she wanted.
What she wants, couldn't express except crying.
Yeah,
That's it.
absolutely. But the only thing that stuck in my head is that this is going to pass.
Yeah.
And so I started talking to more moms, but I started asking them the bad and ugly, not just the good.
Yeah.
You know?
Because we know the good.
After
we've
after
seen
2
it.
years, everybody says it's so nice.
Sure.
Yeah, but when they don't tell you, oh, the nights are really bad, get sleep. So again, I'm so happy that's happened to me, because I've taken it on myself whenever I see a pregnant lady to say, it's gonna happen, right? And it's gonna last 2 years, but it's gonna be very
I
difficult.
do that all the time, and people look at me like, "Are you crazy?"
No,
Why
I
you-"
think they have to know, because
yes.
people don't say the truth.
They
They
don't.
just
You're
remember
right.
the magical part, but
And also, I have this problem with many moms on social media, especially those newborn kids. They only show the good side of
Yeah.
it, and there are so many ladies sitting there with their kids and thinking, "Why can't my child be like them?" Like these kids
true,
are always happy.
that's true.
That's not true.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
not true. They don't show
absolutely.
you the ugly. They don't show you even the bad.
Yeah.
And the good is like maybe 1 hour in 24 hours, not even 1 hour.
Yeah,
It's
no, yeah, there's some very nice moments, but you're right. I think the reason they do that is because I've got a nice moment, you know?
Yeah,
This is,
yeah.
they live for that
They
moment.
live for that. You're right.
You know,
Yes.
every day I live for the 1 or 2 moments where it's really special.
Yes.
So,
But did it put you in at that time? Did you go down a black hole?
I did.
Yeah.
I stopped work. I was every day on the phone. I didn't realize how demanding it was. I didn't hand over my work to anybody. I was a full-time in charge of all the details in the company, and all of a sudden I had a child who's crying. I'm talking on the phone to solve issues, and she's crying. And so what I did while I was talking on the phone, I threw on the bed, and I saw her jump down, bounce from the bed, go up and go down.
Oh my God.
Because she's howling, and I didn't know what to do,
no.
and that was my reaction.
Yeah.
And I then stopped. I looked at, I spoke to my manager. I said, "Don't call me. I will call you when you should call me. Don't call me again. Sort out any issue you have to. Make sure the company survives, but don't call me again." And I hung up. That was the last time I spoke to him. And I picked up my daughter and I said, "I'm sorry." I said, "I'm sorry to God for doing that." And I just dedicated my whole 1 year to her. In between, of course, everybody called me once in a while, but everyone was informed, don't disturb Seema, The company suffered. In 2009, 2012, again, there was a dip,
yes,
if you remember. So we had to change our business models to survive. And I didn't involve myself because I just wanted to make sure that I was doing things right with this child.
Yeah.
I came back after 1 year, and that's when I started coming back. So yes, I think I neglected my work.
Your work, yeah.
But I couldn't do both.
You couldn't.
And when I was ready, I went back.
Yeah, and it's absolutely fine, especially for those women who are listening, who think that they have to juggle both. You don't have to, right?
Yeah. I think if you're a business owner, you need to make sure you have a good person to take over,
right?
To manage and lead.
Yeah.
And you need to plan yourself well in advance. So now, as much as possible, I want to know everything before I get into it.
Okay.
Having a child, I thought I didn't ask too many questions.
Yeah.
If I did, I'd prepare myself much more.
You would have prepared much. Did it change for the other two? Were you more prepared?
Yes. For the other two, I certainly don't spend much time with them. But yes, I was more prepared. For the second one, I delivered, went back to work after 3 months.
Okay.
I didn't have any issues. With the first one, I didn't have milk, so I'm struggling to try and get milk.
Yeah, that was another additional pressure on us.
Yeah, because, you have to feed, mothers have to feed.
Exactly, all those societal norms.
Exactly, but my gynecologist came to me and she said, "What's wrong with you?" And my mom is a doctor, you know?
Yeah.
So every mom would want her grandchild to be fed by the mom,
yes.
right? But And so I guess that she didn't realize the pressure she was putting on me. But then my gynecologist came. She just asked me one question. She goes, "How are you doing, Seema?" And again, I started howling. It's like I howl every time I'm in trouble. And she said, "What happened?" I said, I had cracked, like it was cracked, everything. It was just a horrible situation. And she said, "No, you're the most important person, even for your child. If you're not happy, your child's not happy. Get yourself happy. Give your child formula. Heal yourself, and then after some time, if you want to try it again. Yeah. But formula is there. We're advanced now. Don't force yourself. Don't put yourself through this." And so then in my head, I said, "Okay, I have to be comfortable first. You're right. It's not about the child. I need to be comfortable." Yeah. So that was another journey which I took, and making sure I was comfortable first.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it paid off. Right.
After 3 months of trying, after 3 months, I got milk, and I fed the baby all the way until 1 year.
Oh, nice.
Which is getting milk after 3 months is not heard of.
It's not heard of. You're right.
So it was very good perseverance.
No, but that says a lot about you as a person. Also, the fact that every single stories that you've told us, you've shown us how you perseverance, and it's so easy to crumple, right? Yeah. And when people put so much of pressure on you, and it's so easy to listen to those stories.
Yeah.
And
you know what's important? Making sure that the people who are around you are very supportive. You could have actually somebody who's supportive in one situation and not supportive with you in another.
Right.
So you turn on someone else who's supportive.
Okay.
You need to have that kind of ecosystem around you, which is constantly pushing you for you to feel good about yourself, pushing you further.
And is that why you're so supportive in general? Because I know you for quite some time now, and anyone who knows you knows that anyone has any needs, anyone comes to you, you're very supportive. You always have that open, welcoming warmth about you. And I think that's important for women also in general, right? Because they don't know, they're lost.
Yeah.
So what do you advise to women who are planning to start or embark on a journey? Not just moms, but women in general. They don't know where to go, what to do. What do you suggest that they do? Advice?
If you want to go to point A, you just need to know how you have to get to point A. Right?
Okay.
Then you have all these doubts. Can I do it? Can I not? Those doubts will be there even when you reach point A.
True.
To reach point B.
Yeah.
So that's something which you should just put aside. Okay. The only way you can clear your doubts is by making sure you know exactly how to get to point A. Okay. You've done your homework. You've done your research. You've got everything down on a plan. Even if you do your numbers.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Even if you do your numbers, you might not achieve it. But if in your numbers it's looking good,
yeah,
do it.
Do it. Yeah.
Don't think twice, just do it.
Right.
If you've spoken to, and this is something which I think I did wrong, I speak to 4 or 5 people and I say, "Oh, it's great. Yeah, everybody wants it. Let's do it."
Yeah.
But you don't have infrastructure support on it by government, by technology, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Wait until that comes in. This is my advice.
Okay.
If you have access to government to make that change, access to technology to make that change, do it.
Go ahead. Yeah.
But if you're dependent on it, and that's a large portion of your dependency, then you should put your energy for that change to happen, and then put your money to build a business.
Right. So mostly what you're saying is do market research, talk to people, get as much information.
Feedback. Even today, the only thing that tells me what I need to do is my customers' feedback.
Yeah.
True. So who are you supplying to? Who's trusting you? Who will tell you what you're supposed to do? It happened in Zari. Every new thing we did in Zari, we did because of our customers. Okay. It happened in BiteRite. Listen to them, they'll tell you.
Okay.
So listen to your potential customers.
Okay.
Get mentors, people from the industry who already know it or doing it, maybe not what you're doing, but similar to them.
Okay.
Contact me, I can give you access to them, but you have to go and speak to them and find out what it is you need to do to build it further, So that again is, as you said, it's market research. Just get your homework in place, build mentors who you can call to for different things. Make sure you have the right ecosystem. So who are your suppliers, who are your customers, everything around that you're dependent on, all your stakeholders that you're dependent on, speak to them beforehand. And
Yeah, then go
take
ahead.
the leap.
There'll always be people telling you no, for sure. But then just take it with a pinch of salt and then go ahead, right?
You know, another thing that you should focus on is once you've taken that step, if somebody tells you this can't happen, ask why.
Okay.
Because if you know what your roadblock is, you can actually create another path around the roadblock. And that path is even better. It's always better than the one you were going to take.
Really. Don't get stuck on that road.
Yeah.
Right?
It's always better. If there's a problem, it'll always take you to a better path. Always, always, always.
So positive.
But it's true.
Is it just your experiences that have, or have you always been this positive person?
No, I think it comes from my father.
Yes.
But honestly,
yes.
it's true. It's very true. You know, I'll tell you another statement, and I've said this before as well. It's helped me through so many situations. You know, you're sitting sometimes, you're thinking, God, what's happening? Everything is going wrong. Everything is going wrong. And when that happened, I told my father, I said, why is this happening to me? You know, everything is wrong. No matter what I do, it's wrong. He said, listen, the river only makes noise because of the pebbles underneath. If you didn't have pebbles, it's still river. So the music comes from the pebbles. And you know, that's one of the proverbs where I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that statement? But what he's saying is that that's going to help you create the music.
Right. Yes.
So look at the problems as opportunities to find out what you're supposed to do and not a problem.
Not a problem, yeah. Don't get stuck on the problem, just move on.
Now I'm known as a problem solver. Wow. You know, somebody who comes up with solutions.
Yeah.
So anytime somebody says, but this is somebody's negative on that, I say, look at it, you're looking at it the wrong way.
The wrong way. It's always another way to look at it.
Work around it. It takes you much further.
Super inspiring, and I think your journey all throughout, everything that you have learned, being a problem solver and everything, there's also a lot you're giving back to the community, right?
So through the non-profit initiatives, we've helped a lot of children with special needs. So anybody who I know is in need, not a situation they've put themselves into, but it's just they were born with that situation. So children in need, we've got children who are in poverty that we've helped. You can't solve all the problems, but as much as possible we try and help them. Children who have the capacity, so they're very good in studies, but they don't have the backing.
Education has been something you're very, very particular about, right?
Because you know that's something which our parents have told us.
Yes.
They said, we cannot guarantee you what we're going to give you, but we can guarantee if we give you a good education, you can survive by yourself. So we know the basic requirement of every child is education. So we believe that's what everybody should have access to, and we should help them if we can. I've seen, again, my father help anybody that comes to his steps. You know, and what he does is, if they come to him, he'll say, okay, Seema, help them.
Okay.
So invariably, I'm executing on that.
Right.
You know, so I've always been somebody who's helping through his leadership.
Okay.
And I think the advantage of that is that it builds a culture, and that's what we have. Right. When I was pregnant with Vivanya, the Delhi rape case happened.
Yes.
And actually, I just delivered her, I think. I can't remember if I was pregnant or delivered her, but I remember thinking that I felt sick. You know, I felt sick, like from inside about what happened, and the way people were talking about it's her fault, and she went
in the bus at that time with.
I couldn't believe people speak like that, you know, and that hurt. And I was researching and finding out about what's happening, and they opened up about UP and Haryana and what's happening there. And then I was pregnant with Tanaya, and the same thing happened again. Again, I felt sick. So by the time I delivered Tanaya, I started working on what have I researched. I found out about NGOs. This Kushi was doing a great job. Many people are doing an excellent job. And I'd support them a little bit here and there. And by maybe last year, or the year before, I was just so tired of talking and helping through others that something had to be done. And so now as a family, we decided that we're going to get into setting up schools in those locations and sponsoring girls for the education or anything else that's required to get them to those schools. So sometimes transport is a problem, food is a problem.
Yes.
So we will have to work with NGOs, work with consultants to talk to the parents and make sure that they have full access to allowing those children to schools.
That's amazing, that whole how you've been tying up and giving back to the society as much as possible. And having kids have changed your whole perspective, would you say? Yes.
Absolutely. I'm a little less, I'm less patient, I think. I'm less tolerant.
Really?
I feel I'm less tolerant, because I just don't have time to deal with some things.
Yeah, okay. Less tolerant as in deal with the things around you,
Yes,
but as a mom or as a human being, more tolerant,
I've
right?
been
Yes,
I've learned patience.
Exactly.
But I've learned patience. There's a difference in patience as well.
Yeah.
There's productive patience
Yes.
and there's unproductive patience.
Yeah, you don't have time for that.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much,
Thank
Seema.
you.
It was just an amazing session, and the fact that your journey from being an young girl, right from university to here, to being a mom, and how it inspired, and now giving back to the society in whatever way you can. You're truly, truly an inspiration to so many women, not just in Arabia, all across the world. Thank you so much for being part of our show.
Thank you.
And we wish you all the very best.
Me too. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.